Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to calculate the simple interest and the compound interest and just explain briefly what each refer to. So the simple interest will only accrue on the principal or the amount of money that you might deposit in a bank account. So say for example, if you have €1,000 and you deposit it in a bank account over a period of say 5 years, you will earn interest, whatever that interest rate is, on that €1,000 alone. You won't earn interest on the resulting amount after 1 year, which is the €1,000 plus the interest on that. So you won't earn interest on interest. It's only earned on the initial deposit or the initial principal that you put into the bank. So this is the formula for it. A is the accrued amount, which is the answer that you're going to get after the time period in which you make the deposit. P is the initial deposit or investment, so that's your principal. R is the interest rate that you're going to be given, and N is the number of years. So with our example, we have €1,500 invested or deposited, let's keep it as invested, at 12.5% with simple interest. And we want to find out how much has accrued after 3 years, or how much have we got in the bank account after 3 years of investing that €1,500 at 12.5% simple interest. So remember your formula. Again, this is given to you in the exam if asked, and we just plug in the values that we have here. We're looking for A, or the accrued amount, P being your principal of €1,500. 1 is a given in the formula. Or is 12.5%, but we have to express that as a decimal, so divide it by 100 and we will have 0.125, and N being 3 years. Plugging all that into your formula, it's set up as given. Make sure you multiply 0.125 by 3 first, and then you can add it on to 1. So multiplying it by 3 will give us your 0.375, adding it onto the 1.375, and we multiply it by the initial principal that we deposited or invested in the bank. At the end, we have an accrued amount of €2,062.50. So remember, the simple interest is your 12.5% on your €1,500 in year 1. Then it's again 12.5% on your €1,500 in year 2, and your 12.5% on again your €1,500 in year 3, and you essentially add up what you accumulated in your interest over that period of time. And this is a handier way of doing it, this formula. So I'd advise you to use the formula just in case you have a number of years which is going into say 15 or 20 years, and it'll take too long to go through the calculation like that. The next example, or in other words, we're going to make a comparison between the simple interest and compound interest. Compound interest is one in which you earn interest on the principal or the initial deposit or investment or borrowing. You earn interest on that, plus you also earn interest on the reinvested interest as long as that money stays in the account. So say for example, if you have €1,000 deposited in an account earning 10%, you will have €100 at the end of year 1, 10% of €1,000. At the end of year 2, you will have interest of 10% on your initial 1,000 plus your €100. So you get 10% on your €1,100, which will give you an additional 110. So this is quite different to simple interest, where the simple interest will only give you interest on the initial investment. Here you have interest on your initial investment plus your reinvested interest earned on the previous year. So the formula looks quite similar. We have A again, which is your accrued amount. P is your principal, or say your initial deposit. 1 is given. Your interest rate is referred to as R, and again we have the number of years being N. But look at the position of N in this equation, and if you want to go back to the previous example for simple interest, you will see that the N is not a power of, it's actually a multiple of R. You would have seen R times N. So just to be aware of that, and the compound interest is more powerful in terms of you being able to earn a lot more interest over a longer period of time compared to simple. Again, this formula is given to you in the exam if asked. So your example is €10,000 deposited, 8% per annum interest, but it's compounded interest over a 15-year period. So as again, I'd advise you to use the formula to go through this calculation. So P being your principal of 10,000, or is your 8%, and make sure that's the decimal, 0.08, and N is 15 years. Plugging it all into the formula, okay, we get that. And we need to add the 0.08 onto the 1, and once we have that, then we get it to the power of 15. So always work within brackets in this example. Then the next step is to work with the power of. So 1.08 to the power of 15 is going to give us 3.1722. And finally, multiplying it by our principal, we will have a solution of €31,722.